All right, Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio here, Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. And of course, the NFL draft is getting ready tomorrow night. Now, Joe's got the big smile on his face. He's all ready to go here. And we got to give him, of course, the proper introduction, Paulie, because I would hate to. Joe hasn't been on the show before. I'd hate to not give him the proper introduction. So, for the first time on Go Sports Radio, used to host with me, of course, on Sirius Nights, plenty of shows. He is the encyclopedia of college football, the one, the only. Go for the two, Joe Lisi. Hi, Joe. How are you?
How are you, Paul? How are you, Mike? Let me tell you something. I wasn't sure if there was a dress code on this show, so that's why I got all done up for Carver here. You know, he loves talking about the NFL draft. I'm still shocked, Carver, that total in the Philly game blew through it.
I told you.
7-4. I know. I needed a half a run in the Kansas City-Baltimore game. It's 5-5, bottom of the ninth, and KC scores a run. I altered it to 11.5. It's incredible.
So I guess you didn't have a good night with the totals in baseball.
I played it small, and I was aggravated. I knew that Yankee game was the dead under. Yeah, the 8.5 on a Red Sox Yankee game is too low for them.
It is too low. 8.5 for a Yankee. Then they'll fly through it again tonight, Joe. Don't worry.
Let me ask Joe. Joe, so where are you from, Joe? You from Texas?
Born and raised in Plano, Paul. Born and raised in Plano. I'm a Brooklyn guy, but I grew up in Bergen County, New Jersey, but I have roots in the Bronx as well, going to Fordham. So I lived on 189th
everywhere
and Hughes. The only real borough of New York that I don't know well is Queens. Never really navigated to the Queens, except
I don't think anybody wants to be there right now anyway with how the Mets are playing. You probably want to stay out of Queens.
Woodside's nice this time of year. I'm from Woodside originally, so that's good. I'll take you down. There's a couple of good Irish bars down there, Joe.
Hey, I got a little Irish in me. Carver knows that.
Yeah, a little bit. Not much. A little bit.
Just a little? Come on. My name is Joe Ryan. What are you kidding?
Joe Ryan. Joe, are you this is your time, man. I mean, you love this every year. The NFL draft this year. You know, I want to ask you this first about it before we get into the Jets and the Giants and all the stuff that they have to do. I feel like some years there's so much buzz and there's so much excitement, and you've got these big names, whether it's the massive quarterback, the Trevor Lawrences, and you've had these years with a lot of anticipation and excitement and big players. I feel like this year, Joe, it's like kind of like blah, like it's a little boring. Like we've known Mendoza was going to be the first pick since I guess they won the national championship game, if not before that. You've got defensive players and offensive linemen. Like, there's just not a lot of sizzle for the top of this draft to get people excited.
Yeah, it's a dud. Call it what it is, Carver. It's absolutely one of the worst draft classes that we potentially saw. And you mentioned the skilled talent, not just quarterbacks. I think it is, and we could get into this, a very deep running back class. But outside of that, the wide receivers, in my opinion, not as elite as we saw just a couple of years ago with Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors and some of the other kids that came out. I think there's some under-the-radar guys, but looking for that flair and hype that we have seen in recent years, I don't think you get this with this draft. I think it's Mendoza and everybody else. I agree. David Bailey, Arvell Reese, and Sonny Styles, top three. You want to throw Caleb Downs in there as being the elite, safety in this class. I agree with that 100%. But outside of that, you're really patching it together to make it a great draft. I just watched Draft Day over the weekend again. Very underrated those moves. Very underrated.
I'll say this.
Very underrated those moves that Costner made. I'm telling you, Bo Callahan.
Obviously, you have to take that movie. It's a movie. You have to take it with a grain of salt because the stuff in it is so ridiculous and would never happen. But from that aspect, Joe, I guess the week of the draft, it is fun to watch it, but it is such nonsense, all the stuff that goes on in it. It's a nonsense film.
Oh, it's crazy. Any GM that pulled that off would be fired on the spot giving up the 3 number ones and then getting them back. I mean, come on. But it's great. I mean, the more I watch it, I mean, I probably would have done that. I probably would have done it. Kid's got no heart. Cut him. Chopped. That's it. Didn't go. How many of his teammates went to his birthday party?
Yeah, that's a good part of it. That is a good part of it when you get into that. What did you think of the Giants now getting back into this with a second top 10 pick? So Dexter Lawrence goes to the Bengals. He didn't have that great a year, Joe. I mean, the analytic guys will tell you that he gets double teamed all the time and he's been on a losing team for years. And that's why I thought getting a 10th overall pick for a guy who didn't want to be there, I thought it was a really good. Now you got to cap and take somebody good, but I thought it was a really good return for Dexter Lawrence.
I agree. Dexter Lawrence was checked out. His defensive productivity tailed off much of last year. He was basically not a locker room guy to cultivate some of the young talent in that unit, and to get a 10th round, first round selection for him, 10th pick, I agree with you. I think he's aging. I don't think he's the same dominant player that he came out of Clemson, and people expecting him to transform Cincinnati's defense. I just don't see it. It's not like Dexter Lawrence makes them an elite top 10 or top 15
not Aaron
unit.
Donald.
No, I know. He's more like Grady Jarrett than he is Aaron Donald. Let's call it what it is.
Sense.
I agree, but now can the Giants capitalize? And I'll just say this, the 5th overall pick where they sit, I'll tell you this, Carver, I think they're going to get love. Tennessee would be out of their minds if they take Jeremiah Love at number 4.
Joe, all these teams would be out of their minds if they take a running back in the top 10. Because, listen, if you're picking in the top 10, unless there was a trade or like something like that, that means you sucked last year. That means that you need more than a running back. We were saying this the other day, like when the Lions took Gibbs at 12, like the Lions were a team on the rise, a ready-made team. They had pieces all over. Like, I just don't see it. If you're Tennessee or the Giants, like, don't you need more than a running? Can't you get someone? And Jeremiah, I love Jeremiah Love. He's a Notre Dame guy. Can't you get someone almost as competent in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round? Why waste the top 10 pick on a running back?
Totally agree with that assessment. I'll say this. If you're Tennessee, you have to get Cam Ward weapons. You can't go in with those pedestrian arena league wide receivers, Carver, and take Jeremiah Love or an offensive or a defensive player. You have to get Why can't they get Carnell Tate? I mean, you have to make an assessment on whether Cam Ward is the guy in year number 2. The only way you could do that is if you put weapons around them. You can't expect them to throw the football to pedestrian wide receivers with no speed. They have Tajay Spears. They still have Tony Pollard. They have running backs that can produce. They don't need Jeremiah Love to transform this offense. They need speed on the perimeter. If they do not go Carnell Tate, this offense and this team with Salah are going straight down. They'll be exactly what they were with Callahan.
Hey, Joe, with obviously, New York here, a lot of focus on the Jets and the Giants and their position here in the first round. 2 questions for you. Who maybe is not in the pool in the top 10, maybe outside of that number down, somewhere down the line where might be a surprise player that maybe you think that somebody should maybe try and go out and grab for. And my other question to you too is who's a GM or a team there that might make some kind of a sleeper move, or is there a particular team that you might be focusing in on to see to watch what they might do in this draft?
So the 2 teams that come to mind for like just making moves, Paul, especially on draft day, has to be Howie with Philadelphia. Now with the situation, knowing that they're going to potentially obviously deal A.J. Brown in New England, they need wide receiver help. I think they'll be, very active on maybe day 1 or day 2 and beyond. So they're definitely a team. The other one would be New Orleans. And I know that sounds crazy, but they have Etienne that they just signed from Jacksonville. We know Kellen Moore wants to run the football. This was a team that peaked at the end of the regular season. They're in position potentially to maybe move up and get a player like Jeremiah Love. I mean, it sounds crazy, but if they pair Jeremiah Love potentially with ETN in that backfield, you have now a similar backfield to what Gibbs and Montgomery were for Detroit. And we know Kellen Moore wants to run the football. So I keep an eye out for those two teams, always with the Eagles and New Orleans, even though New Orleans up until this point with Mickey Loomis has been a little cheap in making moves. I think they potentially can make moves with a younger head coach. Player-wise, and Carver's gonna bash me. I have to do it because I've been on these guys prior to any guru, prior to anybody.
You're the guru.
I'm the champ. I'm the guru.
Right.
I am. Jimmy's the best cop. Taylor Green and Mike Washington from Arkansas are two, and they've been. Will you stop Carver? Mike Washington potentially can be a first-round selection. Everybody's talking about Jadarian Price and being the second overall running back selected. Mike Washington had a phenomenal combine. He runs a 4.340. He's 6'2", 230. I got how many action pictures in my office here of Mike Washington? How many did I buy last year from the team? Right? Taylor Green, too. I'm going to say this. I think Taylor Green has the biggest upside out of every quarterback in this class. How about that, Paul? I think when we look back, if a team takes a shot on Taylor Green, you potentially could be looking at a Jaden Daniels type of player that Carver knows I love.
Wow.
Does the University of Arkansas, do they pay you? Do you have like an NIL deal with them? Is there like some kind of side deal you have with them? Why is it always these odds at Arkansas?
What are you talking about? They produced. They had one of the most
every year.
But it wasn't because of their offense. They had an offense that averaged 35 points per game.
What do you want the Jets to do with this second pick? Because we're like less than 48 hours out now. You're getting all that smoke about, trade the pick. I wouldn't trust this Muji as far as you could throw him. What do you want to do with the second pick with the Jets? Because there's interest there. There's been talk that they love this Bailey, the Reese. What do you want to do?
I would take Bailey. I mean, Bailey to me is the guy like Jared Verse or a Myles Garrett type of player. Body type, he can be double-teamed and forces double teams each and every play. Great in run support, has a great motor. And look at what he did. Texas Tech had the worst pass defense and one of the worst defenses in college football in 2024. He transformed them in 1 year to one of the best rush defenses, not just in the Big 12, but in the whole country last year, Carver. They allowed only around 70 rushing yards per game. The kid plays with a motor. If the Jets are looking defense, go with Bailey. I mean, they need still multiple picks offensively, I think, as well. I don't like their wide receiver core outside of Garrett Wilson. But again, Geno Smith, he needs 18 seconds to throw the football. It doesn't matter who you have out there. If the offensive line breaks down, they're not going to put up points. And Aaron Glenzel will be out of a job.
He can be out of a job anyway. So, I mean, they're not surviving.
You can give him Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, and David Bailey, and maybe the defense doesn't step up. How about that?
Well, you could give him all three of those guys, and they would still have Geno at quarterback. So it wouldn't make a difference.
How you go with Geno Smith is ridiculous.
Because they want to lose.
Human turnover
they
machine.
Fire Glenn.
Human turnover machine.
Arch next year for the first overall pick. Next year's Arch year, Joe. You know that.
All right.
Arch time.
All right.
What about this Simpson? Oh, go ahead, Paulie. Go first.
No, I was going to say maybe, Joe, you should start down the road or you guys together maybe could do like a Jets documentary in terms of figuring out what the hell they're doing, what they've been doing. Because
Carver, I would do it. I'll come to Borrelli's. How's that? Nice burger down there? Medium?
Whatever
you need, Joe.
Can I get a lettuce wrap?
You don't have to worry if they have buns. You don't need he eats his burger with no bun, like a lettuce wrap on the burger.
You want to hear the best? I went to a wedding this past weekend. I ordered DoorDash. I was in South Jersey. I ordered it to my house, screaming at the guy, "Where's the food? Where's the food?"
They didn't feed you at the wedding?
No, they did. This was like 2:00 in the morning. I went for a double.
I saw you. You look nice.
You like the baby blue suit,
yeah,
right?
You look good.
I look like I was at the Derby. So there you go.
It did have like a little bit of a Derby feel.
Yeah.
What about
this Simpson?
What about this Simpson?
He's completely overrated, overhyped. This is the Will Levis. This is the guy, and I've been the quarterback whisperer, not Orlovsky and all these guys. Todd McShay. I picked Lamar Jackson over Baker Mayfield. Lamar, 2 MVPs. I'm the one that said it. I'm the one that said Will Levis stunk.
Yeah,
So
but
does
you
Ty
also like
Simpson.
liked
Here we
Anthony Richardson.
Oh,
So
no, I did not. I like Jaden Daniels. Don't start. Come on,
Joe,
you know Ty Simpson's terrible.
he
He didn't
is.
step up against elite competition. He lost 4 games down the stretch. Didn't play well against Oklahoma in the first matchup. Didn't play well against some of the better defenses in the SEC. And now we're going to hype him up to be a top 20 pick. He's a project at best. He's like Zach Wilson, Carver. How did that work out for the Jets?
Stinks.
why are we even talking about the Jets?
Well, the Jets
I
have
know,
2
yeah,
picks. They
I
got
know.
2
I
picks here in the
understand.
first
I'm busting
round.
chops.
So.
Joe, real quick, a couple of teams that got close last year, obviously, maybe focusing on the Rams. Do they do anything here with maybe Puka's situation here as far as any key points that they might want to try and figure out on helping their team out, and or this Frisco tweak with anything here too? Just looking at Seattle obviously winning last year, they kind of leave things alone. A couple of teams that got close next year, you see them making any kind of moves here in the draft?
I think, Paul, for LA, you look at that offense and how it was built, right, with Puka and Devontae Adams, and then their secondary options for wide receivers. They did have 4 tight ends that they utilized throughout: Higsby, Ferguson, Parkinson, all of them. So they're loaded at tight end, but wide receiver outside of Devontae Adams and Puka potentially, could fall off a cliff. So Lemon is a nice pick for them. He's a USC kid. He reminds me of St. Brown coming out when he did to Detroit. He's a smooth route runner. The only problem, I think, is that he can't be the number 1 guy. I think body type and size, but with Devontae potentially, or obviously if Puka does play for a full season, he could be that complementary wide receiver in that offense. So I think LA still goes. If Stafford's in there, they're going to chuck it all over the yard, right? Still go offense. If the situation with Puka hinders them and he doesn't play for a period of time, now you have a potential backup that could just be a plug-and-play type of guy. Brazel from Tennessee is okay. I don't like him as much on the next level. When you look at Hyatt and some of the Tennessee wide receivers, they have struggled. And I think Frisco as well. Frisco needs wide receiver help. They go for Pearsall last year. He's injury prone. Jawan Jennings couldn't make it through a season. Kittle, I still think they need offensive weapons as well. They could go defense. I mean, if a player like, I'll say Bain or some of the others, Mansour from LSU is there, they might go for him as well. I think cornerback help for San Francisco wouldn't be bad either.
Out of all these wide receivers, you like Tate the best? What about this Tyson from Arizona State?
Big body. The only problem is, Carver, is injuries concerns. If he's injured in college, does it translate to the NFL? He's coming off an injury as well, and he struggled a little bit because Sam Levitt, was a little inconsistent last year. But again, how much of that was
played Sam Levitt
and Scatterbo,
throwing him
Jeff
the ball
Sims,
the last second half of the season?
Jeff Sims. You didn't like Jeff Sims had a fantastic Sun Bowl. What are you kidding? He got us the over.
Sims
300 yards.
So you want to go running back, wide receiver, Giants 5 and 10, running back, wide receiver?
I mean, I don't think it could hurt. I mean, they'll say defense, but if you want to go Caleb Downs at 10, if he's there, I wouldn't have a problem with that. If Downs fell, but I think they definitely need a running back, a game changer. Jeremiah Love in that offense is like Derrick Henry was with Baltimore. That's what Harbaugh wants to do. Scatterbo was really good, but he's coming off a dislocation. You don't know if he's going to be 100%. He might retire.
Well, look, I do like the idea of putting a speed flash guy with a hammerhead guy. Like I think you need that in today's NFL. It's a good thing to have. I just don't know if I want to spend that kind of draft capital to put that together. I just
all right. So
you just told me it's a deep running back draft. So that
in my opinion, yeah. I mean, if you're telling me you get Mike Washington in the second round, is there a drop off in productivity from Jeremiah Love to Washington? In my opinion, no. I think Jeremiah Love is a little bit more athletic for his size, but Mike Washington is 230. I mean, Jadarian Price could be, a secondary option as well. You go through the list of running backs in this class, you could pick somebody up in the second, third, or fourth round to make up for, let's say, if you miss out on Love. I just think if the Giants have him Now, the mindset will be, well, you reached up and you got Saquon Barkley and you couldn't keep him and you couldn't win with him. And so you're going to make that mistake again. But then if you don't do that, then you just go defense then. Go Caleb Downs and see if you can catch Payne at number 10 and transform that defense. There's two mentalities that you have to go. You want a more methodical offense with Jackson Dart, or do you want an explosive offense that could compete with Dallas, that could compete with Philadelphia? Because think about the quarterbacks that they have to go up against.
Right.
Dak, Jalen Hurts, and Jaden Daniels when healthy. Downs helps that secondary immediately.
Last thing for you here from me. Tell me about this Concepcion from Texas A&M.
Love him. He's a Swiss Army knife. He came from NC State. He was the leading wide receiver there, but he came in. He stepped up in the SEC. I love the way he plays. I like him as potentially maybe a late first round if he sneaks in there, if not a number 2.
I was thinking about around number 26 or 27, wherever the Bills are picking. Like I was thinking like right around
Carver, he's not bad. I mean, the only thing you would say is body type, maybe he could add 10 more pounds of muscle. But again, he could do it all. Reverses. He could run the slot. He catches yards after catch. He doesn't lose top-end speed. You go to some of the biggest games on Texas A&M schedule. Concepcion stepped up. Go back 2 years ago against for NC State. All the big games, Concepcion stepped up and produced. So that's the type of player that you want. Playing in cold weather, maybe. I don't know. Might be a concern in Buffalo. But outside of that, I think he's a great player. I think he could be.
So you think he's better than Keon Coleman?
Absolutely. I mean, Keon Coleman is for the body type. He's not smooth. He's not fast. And Concepcion could be that pocket rocket. I mean, Concepcion could take a game over just with his yards after catch. And that's what you want for Josh Allen, right? You don't want Shahir just running the show.
I want as many weapons as possible. That's what I want.
What'd you think about your GM calling out and telling the fans to AI images of these guys? What do you think about that?
Whatever. Where do you find this stuff? I haven't seen anything about the GM with AI. Everybody uses AI now. You're the AI king. No. You got stock in it.
I don't know. Whatever you tell the AI to put photos up of me, they bash me. They make me look like I was living in an alley for a week.
No way. Not with the way your hair's looking today, Joe. There's no way.
Oh, look at
sharp,
that.
buddy.
Looks great.
Look at sharp.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, wait, I got one question. Quick question.
All
right, Joe, give us a breakdown. Let everybody know what's the draft day like for Joe. Like, what time do you start? You starting like at 9 a.m, some jumping jacks.
I use the pancakes like the Seahawks GM in the movie.
How many phones you got laid out? What's going on?
So Paul, back in the day, in the late 90s and early 2000s, I used to tape it on VHS. I used to be that crazy, all multiple rounds, two recorders. So I wanted the highlights, and now it's just been watered down. But I will watch the first round, second and third round. I'll catch it on my phone when I'm out and about. But I can't watch 7 rounds anymore in my old age. I have to watch it on the phone and see. I don't like the back and forth. Unless I'm on the panel, I can't listen to everybody go back and forth. Gruden, Orlovsky, this one, that one.
Have you made any draft bets?
Not yet. I'm going to lock in.
What is that?
Well, give me an idea. What is a draft bet? Like what?
I'll give you.
What are you looking to do? Give me a couple.
You can while you find one that you like, Joe. So you could bet things like a certain player over under what number they get drafted. You can draft what team will draft what position first. Like there's a lot of things. Now, you can't in New York, unfortunately.
Well, here you go now. You're not even catering to the people. I mean, that's ridiculous.
People live in New Jersey and Connecticut around here, too. People watch everywhere. Eddie from Columbus is in the chat.
Tell Eddie.
Him.
Bronx Buckeye. All right, you ready? How about this? I'll give you, because everybody's pumping them up. I think top 10 pick. Sadiq at 11-1. Everybody's pumping this guy up.
This is the tight end?
Yeah, 11-1. And Caden Proctor, they love this guy from Alabama because he catches the football. He's versatile. Doesn't matter that he got pushed around against Indiana in the semifinal playoff game, and he was pushed down multiple times, but they seem to like the fact that he scored against Georgia.
You like Mendoza?
I think he's clearly the best quarterback in the class.
That's not what I
Leadership.
asked you.
When you say like, what do you mean? Do I like him as much?
You think he's going to be good in the NFL?
I think he'll be a starter in the NFL, and I think he could be like maybe a clips into a Kirk Cousins. But I worry. I
Getting
think
paid pretty good.
So
Yeah,
make lots of money and never win anything?
Exactly.
I worry that it factor with Mendoza, it worries me. I don't see the same it factor.
I don't either.
With Mendoza that I did with Jaden and Caleb, and the ability to take a game over. I still worry about with Mendoza. So I would say.
Let me ask you this: is he better or worse? Do you like him more or less than Bryce Young when he came out?
I like him a little bit more.
Okay.
Because I thought Bryce would be much better in his career up until this point, and he at times has looked
slowly getting better.
Yeah, deer in the headlights. Mendoza, that's why I like him. He's got the mental resolve. He bounces back from adversity. I never see him unfazed. But outside of that, I still have concerns about overall play and physical attributes.
And what about, real quick, guys, the fact that he's probably going to start here in Vegas? What if he started somewhere else? Does it hurt him being on this Raider squad as opposed to maybe starting somewhere else?
I think it helps him just because of Kubiak, first-year coach.
Right.
You have Bowers, you have Genty, the ability, Paul, to grow with those guys. You always talk about the big three. When you have the running back, you have the tight end, and you have your quarterback with a first-year head coach. Now you have the ability to progress, understand the scheme, and in year two, you should be better off. But they still need multiple wide receiver talent there. They have to put pieces around them. But again, I think Kubiak will be the coach that devises a game plan to his strengths, as opposed to maybe some of these other coaches that say, you have to do it my way, and it's my way or move on. And I think that's where, when we assess quarterbacks, that's where some of these coaches and organizations don't build the game plan around his strengths and want it a certain way. And that's where they go wrong sometimes.
Joe, all the love. Talk to you
Love
soon.
you.
Great job as always.
I love you. Great show. Miss you guys, and kill it. And we'll talk over some baseball later.
Definitely, Joe. Thanks so much for coming on, brother.
There he is.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Go for the two. Joe Lisi here on Carver and Cuthbert Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island.